Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for welcoming me into your homes for another Frosty's Numismatic Nexus. Got a little bit different setup today. I think you'll see a little bit cleaner picture being on StreamYard. Sometimes I have some issues with the lighting and things like that. I've been really working to get this better. Unfortunately, you're still going to see glare in my glasses until the other surgery and I get my new glasses with the reflective lens. So I apologize for that, but I'm trying to give you good and better quality in the video and the audio. So let me just give me a no green shirt today, me. So give me a thumbs up if the audio quality is good and you can hear me loud and clear. You'll see that I have a microphone set up here. I want to talk a little bit quieter today. I do have a couple special guests. One of them needs no introduction, and I'll be showing uh, this guest in just a few moments. But first, let me say hi to everybody who's in the stream. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. I appreciate the great support. So, hey, Miss Coin Crew, thank you for joining. Brown Sugar, William E., Ringmaster Ray, my brother from another mother. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here. I got copper coins in the house. Woohoo! That's always a cool thing. Obviously, my brother from another Navy mother, which is me. We have William E. We have EMR coins. We have Yoxnav. We have Chris G. We have, let's see, who am I missing? Who am I missing? I know I'm missing somebody. Coin Junkie was in here just a few moments ago. Dale M. Dale M is here. Thank you, Dale M, for coming in and joining me in today's discussion. I think I have everybody. If I have missed anybody, I do. Oh, Chief Stacker just popped in. Sturika, I see you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for coming in. Oops, wrong YouTube. It's okay, Eric. I know who it is. Um, but it's still really cool to see the copper coins. That's cool. I like having it there. You stay there. That's fine by me. Seven Stacks, thank you for coming in. Hey, Seven, I want a channel round. Okay, my official request. I want a channel round. Those turned out really nice. That is something that I definitely want to work on. But yeah, Eric, there you are. There you are. I see the correction now. Um, but thank you for coming in. So today's discussion is kind of impromptu. And the reason that it's impromptu is uh yeah, no worries, Josh, you're all good. The reason that I'm doing the discussion that we're doing today, I actually put out a request for somebody else to join. They probably won't even get notification. And if they do, the odds of them actually clicking on the link and coming in is probably slim and none, but we'll see. I hope so. Because this is a topic that I really know nothing about. And until last night, awesome, Seven. Thank you. John Howe's in the house. Whoop. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming in. Um, so as we were preparing for the actual topic, which we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, you'll understand that just for a moment. Um, I started coming across some things, and I was like, I really just don't know very much about this topic at all. And so I wanted to do more of a little discussion regarding what I understand and some legal ramifications that I've seen coming out in regards to ancient coins. Now, I know that there have been cultural appropriations, let's just say that, okay, in the last few years regarding things like Greece, Rome, Egyptian, um, Indian, things of that nature, primarily targeted towards uh, events tied to like war or conflict, looking at British regime uh, taking over certain provinces, taking items, World War One, World War Two. There's a lot of information regarding Holocaust, people who would go in and steal art and things like that, steal coinage from Holocaust people. Herman, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Um, And so as I started to look at Snoopy, thank you for being in here. I appreciate you coming in. But as we look at kind of the information that's here, Jeff Davis, thank you for stopping in. I started to kind of look through. Now, again, when we're looking at, excuse me, when we're looking at doing the thing we're doing today, um, it was like, man, I really just don't know much about ancient coinage. I don't know what the requirements are. I don't know what you can and can't do. I don't know what you can and can't have. And there are certain things like now EMR was talking about ivory, fossilized ivory and things of that nature. So I do know that ivory pre like 1950 something, there's a given date where it already had to have been in the country. Anything past that date, you cannot have, it's illegal to own. And I have a piece that came over from China in the early 1900s, and I have some documentation. It was actually given to me um, back when I was about 25 years old. I rented a house from a Chinese couple who were absolutely amazing people. And I did a lot of work on the home trying to get it up to date. So while I was an occupant, I wanted to leave the house better than I got it. And so I did some restoration of some items, redid their yard, did some stuff. And when I left, they begged me and begged me and begged me to stay in the home. But we didn't stay in the house. Obviously, we ended up getting our own place. But they invited us over to the house, and they presented me with this. It's a tiger. It's kind of I won't get into the details of it, but it's an ivory tiger, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And he had some paperwork that showed, when his father came into the United States, and they showed these different things that they have, and there's a picture of it with him. So I still have that documentation, and it's important to make sure that you have that stuff to quantify that it was here long before that time frame. But I really didn't understand that that applied to coinage. I really didn't understand that there were some requirements regarding that particular item until I started looking at this particular coin. Now, I'm going to open up another camera because I have a special guest. And as soon as I put this person in stream, you're going to know exactly who it is. So go ahead and say, howdy, Bite Frost. So Bite Frost is joining us today. She's going to fulfill two roles. Number one, she's going to be drawing a picture. Yeah, Miss Coin Crew, I get it. Yeah, it's interesting. It's fascinating. I mean, I have two coins, right? They're both from the Constantine Empire, and they're certified by NGC, but that's all I know, right? I mean, I know more about the Constantine Empire than I do about the coin itself. But it got me thinking. Um, how do you feel about third right coin? See, Yax, see, I don't mind that. Again, I'm looking at numismatic coins. The history of a people is the history of the people. It's history, right? Just because you have something doesn't mean that you actively support what happened 50, 60 years ago, right? So I have zero issue with it. Um, my granddad, when he served in Germany, had a couple German coins that he brought back. One was from my birth year. And I have them because of memorabilia. I have them because of the numismatic importance. There's World War II coins that I have regarding Seven Stack says, "Hey, Bite Frost." Nina says, "Hey, Bite Frost." Actually, if you guys type in uh, exclamation point Bite Frost, it actually says, "Hey, congratulations, thanks for being here," so on and so forth. Um, but again, it's about if you collect them because you're a Nazi, we have issue. But most people in this hobby are collecting things because they have significant value. That is numismatics, right? That is the definition of numismatics. So if anybody has any issue, um, then we'll take that off the panel. But right now, I mean, it's fine by me because again, we're not talking about promoting it. We're talking about the historical aspect of it. 7 stacks, high bite frost. I love those drawings. Well, you're in treat because she's going to be drawing one. So will you do me a favor? Yeah, exactly, Miss Coin Crew. It's numismatic. It's collectible. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm going to show a couple things. So I'm going to do a couple call outs real quick. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have her pull up the 3 coins that I have. There we go. Go ahead and grab those up. So this is a package that I got in. If you can lift that up towards the camera a little bit. This is from Peg Leg Stacker. Now, this is something that he did his will a little while ago, and to support his channel and kind of do some stuff, I bought a couple spots on the wheel, and I had a pretty good run. Actually, I did some really good stuff. So if you'll grab that little itty bitty baby coin, that little itty bitty coin, you're going to have to get that close. You're going to have to go closer, closer, closer. It's going to be hard. It may not focus. No, it doesn't look like it's going to focus. Anyway, this is the year of the bull. This is a 1/20th ounce gold coin. It's a really cool little thing. Flip it around the other side. You can't really see that. I was hoping to be able to do that, but you can't really tell. You can see it's a little bull there. Can you put your hand underneath it to where it blocks the camera so you don't see your background? Put your hand like this underneath. Is it going to focus? It is not going to focus. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you can see that's a bull. So I got that. I got a Indian head, 1 ounce round, and then I got another round, which is really cool. So I got 2 silver rounds. But outside of the gold, the piece that I wanted to show you was this one, and this is the Britannia 2 ounce Britannia. It comes in the box. Okay, and this is really, really freaking cool. So if she opens up this box, okay, slides that out. Nope, yeah, there you go. And it's absolutely fabulous looking. This is a 2 ounce round. If so, open that up. Blame FrostByte for technical difficulties. Yeah, you can blame me for technical difficulties. So this is a 2 ounce round. Now you're going to try to pull that out of there and get that up a little bit closer. This is absolutely gorgeous, right? Absolutely beautiful piece. We're familiar with the 2 ounce, but this is just absolutely a gorgeous coin. And again, got this. Speaking of German coinage and stuff, so but there you go. That is the Germania mint. So let's go ahead and put that back in there. But these came from Peg Leg, so I wanted to kind of do a call out for Peg Leg. And again, you see his stacks there. Snoopy Stacks sent me a couple items that one of them I'm really, really appreciative of. Actually contacted me and said, "Hey, I've got something for you. Be aware of that." And if you lift up the one, it's the Apollo 11. Now, the Apollo 11, this actually shows the Apollo 11, the eagle. The eagle has landed, and then you see the little return when it's in the water after they had plummeted in. Again, you can't see these very well. This camera doesn't focus closely, so apologize for that. But huge shout out to Snoopy for getting these 2 ounces to me. They're absolutely gorgeous pieces, and she knows I love the space program. She knows I love ships on coins, and so she contacted me and said, "I got this," and I was like, "It's mine. It's mine. I want it. It's mine." And then the last piece is the piece you can go ahead and show that. This is the dragon round, year of the dragon. Next year actually is the year of the dragon. And as she stated many times in her streams, you can see a lot more of these. I actually love dragons. Um, but so beautiful piece. So thank you, Snoopy, for those. I appreciate that. So we're going to go to the last one. And this is why Bite Frost is here. Bite Frost is actually going to be drawing this. Now, if you bring that up a little bit closer, it may be difficult to see, but this is actually a 2 ounce coin of the Egyptian god Amet. And if you flip that over, and again, I apologize, you're not seeing these a little bit better. The quality of this camera is a little lacking, but you're going to have to kind of rotate it around so you can see it. It's really difficult to see. I apologize. Hand that to me. Let me see if I can show it here. I'm not sure if you can see this. Let's see, is it the right way? There we go. So I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it is a really good looking round. And so the reason that she's here is we're going to be drawing Amit. Um, she's sitting right over here, and she's going to be drawing Amit. So she's going to be working on that. She's got her reference photo up, and so she's going to be hand drawing that. Roxilla says that my daughter was born in the year of the dragon 2000. Outstanding. Very cool. Roxilla, thank you for being in. I appreciate you being here. Germania Mint does excellent work. Yeah, Germania Mint is absolutely awesome. It's one of those things that I absolutely enjoy this stuff. All right. So while we were looking at, so we're going to go on and get into this topic. Bite Loki will be going on the wall today. Outstanding. So me says Bite Loki will be going up. She's smiling. She's like, yay. If you haven't seen that, go check out me's video that he did on the winning that he did for my 1,000 subscriber gaw. And really cool piece, Loki piece. He got the Loki coins, the Asgardian coins, and he got a comic, and he put that together. It's a really cool little theme. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. Um, really neat stuff. But when I was looking up the Egyptian coin and looking up Amet, I started to stumble across some things. And the thing that I started to come across is called cultural patrimony. Now, cultural patrimony in relation to ancient coins is when your country, even though it didn't exist at the time the artifact or coin was produced, because it's in relation to that country's lineage or that history, they can claim that as their cultural property. And this has been a big deal within Greece in the last couple of years. Now, I'm not going to be able to follow chat for a couple minutes because I've got this up. I've got a couple screens up where I'm going to be pulling information on. Again, I do not know a lot of information on this. So the information that I'm pulling up, there's a couple different articles. One of them is from the Numismatic News, and we'll provide a little bit of commentary on that one, and then I'll provide the information on the other one when I get there. But in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of information regarding Greece relics and coins. And there was a memorandum of understanding, or also known as an MOU, that was done in January of 2022. So only a little over a year and a half ago. That is good for 6 years. That states that any relic, art, coin, or other item dating from the 4th century AD to 1830 is not allowable in private hands without proper documentation. And so I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So help me understand kind of what that means. So on September 22nd, the U.S. Embassy and the consulate in Greece stated that this renewal marks the 10th anniversary of the MOU concerning the imposition of import restriction on categories of archaeological and ethnological material during the Hellenic Republic. Now, Hellenic Republic obviously is Greece and Helena and that area. So when they talk about Hellenic Republic, they're talking about Greek history. And it's an example of the United States' enduring commitment to work with Greece to combat things like trafficking and preserving uh, historical and heritage items. Now, we know that you can't go over and, you know, pick up a small statue off the ground and put it in your pocket and come home with it. There's major laws regarding that. And yeah, we have the same law here also. So you can't take cultural items here from Indian or things like that and take them overseas. But what really gets me is that you have different tribes and things in the U.S., but they expanded this all the way from 4th century to 1830. So anything that's 1830 on is fine. Now we have a bunch of coins when you look at um, yeah, we're going to get there in just a minute, Josh, because that's kind of what stemmed me into this conversation. Um, so when you're looking at this, you have to have paperwork talking about what they call the provenance of the coin. Now, modern Greece, the reason that 1830 is extremely important is because modern Greece was technically established in 1830. And as a result of that Greek war, the independence from the Ottoman Empire, uh, the Greek monarchy, um, in a military jaunt in the 60s, uh, took over, and then they transitioned in 1973 to a democracy. So there's a period between 1830 and 1973 where there's a lot of internal civil war and monarchy and power struggle and power grasp. But all of that is the free independent nation of Greece, right? And so uh, the democracy that we know now, 1973, again, Miss Coin Crew, great things happened in 1973. Democracy in Greece. Here we go. Another great example of why 1973 is the best year. Um, but when they did this, they started pushing out referendums and MOUs that extended Greece's coin on claims and artifacts during the peace in which Greece itself did not exist as a unified nation or independent nation. Because back in the ancient times, they were a series of states, Hellenic states, much like the United States that we look at. That the United States is America, North America. The United States itself, it makes up of 50 states and a couple provinces. But when you're looking at, yeah, exactly, the city states. And so when you're looking at Troy and you're looking at, Helena and Greece and Cartha and all, that's Rome, sorry. But when you're looking at that, you have all these independents. It wasn't until past 1830 where they started to claim that independence. So now I was looking through this and I was looking at some of the items regarding this, and it started to tie into a little bit bigger story because as they were going through some of these items, they started to talk about artifacts that had been displaced by a Jewish minority or the Holocaust. And so I started looking at things that were related to Holocaust survivors and Holocaust victims from World War II, both in Germany and in Russia, and looking at the amount of art that had been seized and captured by Nazi and the Soviet regimes during that time frame. Now they go into Mongol, they go into China, they go into the now Soviet Union, Russia, right? Back then, Soviet Union. Um, but just kind of looking at all these different referendums, well, it tied me to Egypt, right? Which gave me kind of that full circle. So we were looking at items that pertain to Egypt and went through this train, and then it came back and started talking about Egypt again. Now, here was my question. Okay, so when you're looking at, and I don't know the answers to all of these. Okay, so this is why, um, if there's anybody in stream who has more information and knowledge to come up, I'm just basically talking about this. This will probably be more series related things that I'll be looking at later. I'll probably work on getting some good contacts uh, in ancient coinage, and probably have them on stream, because there's a lot of stuff that I just didn't know. There's a lot of stuff I just had no idea that there were items of this type. Now, one of the things that kind of made me wonder was, and I see people in chat talking about having ancient coins and owning ancient coins. Here's my question. Just because you have a graded coin, does that protect you from seizure of that coin? Apologize, I gotta drink me some coffee. Throat's drying out a little bit. And the answer is no. No, it doesn't. Just because you have a slabbed coin does not protect you from that coin potentially being seized. you have to have the provenance. You have to know where that coin came from. You need to understand the history of it. You need to have documentation of it. Now, what the certification does is the certification lets you know that the coin is authentic, right? Um, they don't grade them. Yeah, well, that's true. They just basically are certifying that they're authentic. And again, I don't have. Yeah, it'll say like the Ottoman Empire or the Constantine Empire or the Julius Caesar Empire or whatever it might be, right? Now I'm going to pull up another article, and this was the one I really wanted to share with everybody. So give me just a moment. Let me pull this up. And there was one that really kind of caught my attention and looking at this. So I'm going to kind of go over this. This is again, this is another, this is from Coin Week, and this was done in December 17th of 2020. This is a uh, much older one, but it talks about the provenance of ancient coins. And so I think I've stated this before. It's actually in the description, but I want to kind of go through this article with you all and kind of talk about some of the items that I've seen that I find absolutely fascinating. Kinawine, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Anxious Stacker, thank you for coming in. Again, I'm not looking at chat a lot. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but I'm trying to focus on this as well. So I apologize if I'm missing anybody. There is no intent to. Lola Davis, SkyQuest, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you guys for the support. If you haven't already done so, please make sure that you hit that like button. Um, I really, really do appreciate it. Again, it's free. It's easy, and it does help the channel. I would love, love, love to get to 100 likes today. I don't know. We got 42 people that have viewed the thing so far, so I can't get above 42. But if we get to 100, I would love to be able to do that. I think I've only got to 100 twice, and I think both of them were my giveaways. So I'd like to try and have a normal one that um, that isn't tied to a giveaway. You know what I mean? So real quick, okay. So question from Roxilla. Let me go back up and see. What was the question? What was the question? I don't see it, but it said good question. You can get Roman bronze coins for under $10. Yes, you can. And yeah, so here's the other thing that I'm looking at. Okay, and I don't know the answer to this. Are they going to come after you for a $30 coin? Probably not, right? They're looking at more rarities than they are anything. But I'm going to talk about this particular article and something that happened in this particular article that really made me think about some people who collect large quantities of it. Now, the person that I reached out to for more information is Classical Numismatics. Classical Numismatics is, if you look at their site, now I have not dealt with them at all. I really have very, very rarely even looked at their channel. I have looked at a couple items on his channel. He's got tons and tons and tons and tons of ancient coins. I'm going to try to reach out and see if he has more information or maybe willing to come up on stream. I really liked some of the videos that I watched in relation. Um, but yeah, silver and gold, both the coins were fairly small. If you get decent size coins from Rome or that nature, then but Roxilla asked a question. This is a really good question. Why haven't ancient coins skyrocketed since they're so old? There's a couple different reasons. Common, they're of houses that don't really have good providence. Now, when we talk about providence, and this is actually a great question, tying to the provenance or pedigree of an ancient coin, or who owned the coin throughout historical interest. Now, you can have families of wealth that were able to mint and produce their own coinage, but they're kind of obscure. There's not a lot of interest in there. There's not a lot of uh, like who were these people? They were like some obscure governor of some unknown state. So while they minted tons and tons and tons of coins, nobody knows who the hell they are. And because nobody knows who they are, they don't have that historical interest or prestige to the ownership of the coin. Now, it's important in certain collections, right? If you have a specific collection that has come from some former numismatic genius or something like that, then understanding that. So let's say that you gained a coin that came from Norman Rockwell. That adds historical and significant value because of the person who was its previous owner, right? So there's a long history not only in coin collecting, but in the people who actually owned the coin itself. Now, there were a series of coins in Rome that were produced circa 112 to 114 during the emperor or the reign of Emperor Turan, commemorating earlier coinage back to the third century BC of the Roman Republic. Now, the details of those were comparable to the anecdotes of originals. They had been looking at the different die engravers and the people that did that, and they were trying to determine whether it was a state or a personal collection, or maybe some Roman intellectual may have been discussed. And as they were looking at this, they started looking at some people who had various coins, and they started looking at uh, these people who were kind of hoarding these coins. And oh no, I did not just do that. I closed the article I wanted to read. I hate it when I do that. Okay, Microsoft, if you're watching, right? And I know they're not, but whoever designed the three little buttons in the right hand corner and put the make big button next to the close button was an idiot. Okay, I'm just saying. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that son of a gun. Yeah, I was looking at so many of these. I don't know where it's at. Ah, that sucks. Anyway, I'm going to have to just paraphrase because I'm not going to be able to read it. Anyway, it was talking about collecting pedigree coins and looking at the really, really high end. Yeah, I know. It's just Bill Gates. Damn it. Um, Looking at some of the high end collections. And there was an attorney in New York who actually turned over this massive, massive collection. And people were kind of like, well, why did you do this? And he was pretty open and honest that a lot of the information that he had been collecting came from basically like black market sources. And one of those black market sources was a gentleman, Italia something. Again, I don't remember the name because I closed the damn thing. Um, and it talks about a case. I know I had one job, right? I had one job. Um, they had one case where this guy was forging the provenance of coins. Now, they were authentic coins, they were real, they were gold. But he was forging the provenance and selling them for like two, three, $4 million. But the providences weren't real; they were fake. And this attorney had purchased a lot of them from this person and actually turned over his entire collection. And the total collection was something like $46 million. Outrageous number. And again, I'll pull it up. And if there's any corrections to this, I'll make sure that I update these in the chat. So if I misspeak and I find that article again, then I'll make sure that I bring out that information. But it was unreal, right? And so the question that I wanted to pose, and this is why I'm trying to reach out to people who know much more about this than myself, and that is if you have ancient coins, okay, and you have coins that have been graded by, or not graded, sorry, I say that again. If you have coins that have been uh, authenticated by people like NGC, PCGS, um, ANACs, yeah, people that have they're historians. They're able to authenticate its design. They're able to authenticate the family, so on and so forth. How do you know how what what do you have in your arsenal other than the fact that it came from a coin shop or a coin show, or one of the folks in our great community here? How do we know where that coin came from? Now, granted, most of us are not dealing in coins that are, you know, 1,000, 2,000, $3,000, 10,000, 20,000, $50,000. I don't know anybody in this collection, in this hobby, who has $1 million gold Greek, gold Roman, gold Egyptian coin. I know people have seen them. I do know that uh, whether or not you uh, care about the channels or not, I do know that uh, JB of JB Coins has a good contact in Ancient, who actually he was on his stream one time and uh, talked about some authentic coins that were really nice. How do you know where they come from? How do you know that circa 340 to 350 CE? How do you know that is good? How do you know that it's okay to be here? Because you're looking at some of these time frames that are at that point. The other question is, if you find that you have something that is part of the cultural appropriation piece where they're trying to get their information back, do you have the requirement to turn it in? Right. And so what is the limitation on that? What is the requirement? And I don't know the answers to that. And these are questions that I would really excuse me, these are questions that I would really like to find out. Now, am I worried about the two Roman coins that I have? No. They're so small. I think the coins in general were between 30 and $50. Not a big deal. But again, when you're looking at um, these particular items, man, it would be really, really interested to know what the requirement is. Yoxnev, exactly, right? Josh has pegged it on the head. Would you turn them in? And I'll tell you that if something came out that said any Roman coin between 2 BCE and 8 CE had to be turned in, and I had one, you're damn right I would be turning it in. Now, a lot of people say I would not. I wouldn't miss that chance. Now, I have a reason for why I would do it. I'm not going to talk about that particular reason, but there's a lot of people that would not. Okay. Um, but I can tell you right now that I will not, especially now, not just because of funds. I'm not spending $1,000 on an ancient coin. There are a couple that I want. I think they're fascinating. I would love to see it. I would love to be able to look at ancient coins and look at it and sit down. You know what I would rather do? I would rather sit down with a historian and have them tell me about the history of the coin, and then maybe I'd be interested in having one. But just to have an ancient coin, unless it's something like Constantine, where there's kind of a dual purpose for me to have the Constantine, right? The Constantineous from or Constantineous 2 for 340 to 350 CE, Sir Arthur Evans collection. There's two absolutely fabulous coins, understanding the history and looking at um, the he was his grandfather of Constantine, great grandfather of Constantine, excuse me. Looking at some of the stuff, it's a gold coin. It's absolutely fabulous. It's really cool. Obviously, wouldn't ever be able to afford it. It's a $3.5 million coin, but being able to look at this, and if there was a replica of this, absolutely, I would love to have this because I understand some of the historical significance behind the coin, and I would love to be able to see this. Hey, Lubov, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Don't see you in the stream much, so I appreciate you coming in. Um, But I would be also just as happy to go to a museum and look at them there, right? It's just one of those things where it's not one of those things that I personally connect. Now, now, if I were to come across them, right? Now somebody had a bunch of them and they said that, um, "Hey, I would like you to have one of these," or they said, "Hey, thank you for this." I would absolutely and graciously accept it, and I would put it in my collection, and I would do history, and I would do research, and I'd probably do a shorter video on it and say, "Hey, this is about the coin. This is what it's at. This is where it's going on. This is what's going on," and share information with everybody so that they were aware of what was happening within this particular item. But I personally am not going to go out and buy them because I don't. I have so much to learn about US numismatics and Canadian numismatics and European numismatics that try to go into ancients. I would spread myself so thin, I don't think I would be doing anybody a favor, including myself. So I would rely on other people to do that. I would love, love, love to see some of these things up close and in person. I would love to be able to sit down with somebody who had an amazing collection and look at them and just hold some of these coins and just go, this coin is 2,000 years old. That's absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to do something really fast. So, Bite Frost, are you done? Bite Frost says she is done. So I'm going to do this. Starika! Okay, so you are a subscriber, and I know you're a subscriber. So guess what? Starika wins. Starika wins this drawing of Amet. All right, so she put this together. So we're going to package this up. Starika, congratulations. If you don't have the coin, get the coin. You can put these together. You can hang these up. It's a really cool piece. Will you hand that to me there, Bite Frost? So you should be able to see that. But if you don't, oh yeah, it's upside down. I was told to correct myself because I'm an idiot. All right, so there it is. Okay, all right, very cool. So hopefully you can see that. My screen on StreamYard is a little bit delayed, but she's already gone and put her initials on there. And so if you will send me an email, you can do um, dollar or exclamation point email. So there's my email. Email me, let me know what's going on, and you can make sure that you send that over to me. Sobek, what are you talking about? Sobek. Am I talking Ahmet, but it's actually Sobek? Chief Stacker says, fantastic job, Bite Frost. She's like, thank you. That's awesome. All right. So again, this is one of those things that you guys need to understand that when I do giveaways, they are going to be random. You need to be in chat. You need to be chatting. You need to be present. If you are not present, you are not chatting, then you have no opportunity to win. I'm not going to say, I'm going to do an end of the stream. I'm going to do it random whenever, because what I want to do is I want people to be here for a very specific reason, and that is to support the channel, to learn about why we're here, and make sure that people are putting things in. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't do an end of stream. That doesn't mean I won't do something at the beginning of the stream. It just means that if I'm going to be giving something away like this, then that's going to be happening at the very end. All right. So I'm going to ask Bite Frost, are you done? Do you want to go? Do you want to hang out for a little while, do something else, or do you want to bail? She says, I'm going to bail. So please wave bye-bye. Tell everybody hello. She says, see you later. So Bite Frost, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate that. Congratulations, Starika, on that. That is a cool win. She said she wanted to do something cool. And so awesome. Yeah, Starika, if you can, or Starika, excuse me. Yoxnav, if you want to come up, you're more than welcome to come up. put the link up there at the top. If there's anybody that has ancient coins, that knows about ancient coins, knows about the history, knows about these things, please feel free to pop in. Great Scott says, bye bye, Fright Boss, Bite Frost. Fry Boss. She's not a cook. She's not a short order cook. I apologize, but I have to stay hydrated and just drinking coffee. Oh, right. So, but anyway, what did you guys think about this? You guys like this kind of impromptu fry boss? Yeah, I know. I just, man, sometimes I need to think about what I'm saying because sometimes I just sound like a complete and utter idiot. Um, but it's all good. But like I said, when we were trying to coordinate today's stream, what we were trying to do, and there were a couple people who had talked about getting Bite Frost in to do another drawing. I said, "Are you interested in doing this?" She's like, I don't know, maybe. And I started looking through the coins, and she goes, "I could draw that. I could draw that, Dad." I was like, "Are you sure?" Well, come on up. I don't care yet. Show away. I'm good. Better than Frostbite. Yeah, yeah. She definitely draws better than me. She has told me that I can't draw stick figures. Well, so yeah, but here's the thing. That's the question, right? And Ringmaster Ray, I'm going to actually tag that and show that. Now, nothing against it being Big Flip, right? He's not tagging Big Flip. This is not a, I wonder where Big Flip's in the block. No, 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 no. The question is, where does a coin come from? What's the coin's provenance? The people that they get them from, where are they getting them from, right? Are there reputable sources and things of that nature? Well, look, you
Hey.
just showed up. What's
Yeah, I've
going on?
good, good. Yeah, I've got plenty of them from that I've got from Big Flip, and you now you kind of think, hmm, is it legal even for me to have them now?
Well, so here's the thing, and this is what I want. I want people to understand. I am not trying to cause panic in people who are collecting ancient coins.
Oh no, no,
I
just making you
don't know,
aware. Yeah, I'm
right?
like, don't.
This is
How?
much a question for me
Yeah,
from all of you, right? And again, this is where I think you've heard me say this. I know Ray has. Ray and I talked about this when we were in Tulsa. We had sushi together, right? Along with the the little hustler guy who
mm,
ran around helping everybody do all sorts of stuff, ran errands for everybody. Your son was a stud. Please tell
yeah,
him I said hi. He's a good kid.
yeah. I think it was Mad that named him Little Ringer.
Little Ringer.
Hmm.
All right, cool. Yeah. Me's the one that named Bite Frost. um, but when you look at what my channel does, when you look at why I'm here about knowledge and information, right? I'm really into numismatics, the history, the why, the behind the scenes. What does it look like? What's the purpose of it? What's the provenance of the coin? Why did they put that item? Like yesterday's discussion regarding the F-22. It's no wonder why they put the F-22 on the back of that Air Force commemorative coin. But when you're talking about ancients, man, I don't know. You got brass and bronze, you got pure copper, you got silver, gold. You've got other mixtures. They had iron back in the day. They had um, tin style coins that were made. There's so many different metals of coins that can be done back in the day that it's really crazy. Here comes another brother from another mystery mother. Oh, he came up and then he disappeared.
So my question is, how would you prove that it even came from that country? Because Rome was so large. So say it came out of the UK. How would you know where it even came from? I mean, Greece can't just claim everything because the Roman Empire was so huge.
Well, and again, so when you're looking, so a lot of it, and this is from what I understand. If I misspeak, Okay, let's see if he can come back up this time. You good?
This is from what I understand.
There he is.
Yep. You just got to kill your YouTube side now.
Yep. Mute your YouTube side.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. We can hear you.
Very good. Now I don't have any feedback now. How you doing, brother?
Okay, yeah.
Mute
Oh,
your-
this is all something I wanted to show you when you were doing that NASA stuff. I actually work for a company that does static tests for rockets, and it's not.
Yep,
Why isn't
I
it
see.
showing? Oh, here it is. I'm trying to figure out the camera.
You're right there. It's perfect.
Yep. Very
Back
cool.
up just a little bit. Stop. Perfect.
This was actually sand.
Your thumb's covering it up, bud. There you go.
Yep.
That is turned into glass after the blast.
The heat. Yeah.
Darn, man, I don't have a very good hang of this camera.
That's okay. You're good. Leave it. Go up just a tad and stop. Just stay there. You're good. No worries.
Yeah, this was something NASA gave us as some swag when we did some stuff for them,
Huh.
and they gave us a bunch of pins and whatnot.
That's cool, dude. See,
Yeah, they gave us a
this-
bunch of these pins.
This is the kind of stuff that I love, right? This is one of those things. There's a history here. We're talking to somebody tied to a historical event, right? This is what I enjoy. So this kind of stuff makes me happy, Josh. Good stitching in that hat.
Yeah, was that? Let me try this. There's a big delay. I'm trying to watch it on my son's phone, and there's a big delay between YouTube and StreamYard.
Yeah, it's probably like it's built in. This is something that's actually built into so if something happens, they can actually kill it before it goes live. So there's actually a built-in process to this.
But here are some of the coins that I actually wanted to show you. Like this one is from the Roman Imperial Gallic Empire, Tetrius II.
Okay.
And it's really hard to see the details on it because it's such a small coin. But there's also a few other things I got from like the Ottoman Empire. Like here's a little bit of silver from them. And this is Sultan Solomon the Magnificent. And it's only 1 gram. And then there's the Ottoman Empire from Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror.
So interesting thing about Suleiman the Magnificent is that he was Kunai Suleiman, who was also called the Lawgiver. So that was pretty cool.
See, the details aren't showing up very well, but this is what I wanted to really show you. This is something I got from a company called the International Numismatic Bureau.
Yep.
And I don't know, these like look really crappy, and it just, there's no way of telling if they're real.
Well, those little copper coins, when they usually would find them, they'd find them in a huge hoard by the thousands, and they'd get them cleaned up a little bit and then throw them into these generic slabs from there. So
There's
most
and
likely
that,
are real,
one
but
of the keys is when they talk about cleaning them up, it depends on who found them.
exactly.
Right. There's a difference between cleaning and restoration.
Yep. Ooh, wow.
So
and
This
Got to
one I'm
make
pretty
sure
sure
that
is
they come
fake.
from restorated states.
there is a lot of fakes out there too.
You see how the
Um,
X's are so darn perfect?
That's FrostByte. Oh, that's Little Ringer. You tell him hi. Hello. He's the guy we went out and had sushi with for your birthday. Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. You can see that pretty good.
I just think that's way too perfect for a 1,000-year-old coin.
You'd be surprised. Now
Mhm.
the one thing is, and again, when they talk about this, the devil is in the details, right? So if you see something that looks like it's machine crisp, it's probably not real. Because these were smashed by, a die and a hammer. So sometimes you had now there are really good strikes and stuff, but
Oh shoot, I just dropped a bunch.
that's okay, no worries.
Here's
You want to make sure you look at some of these items. Whoops. Why did that happen? Yeah. So is that silver?
yeah, this is from the Carolingian Empire.
That's cool. I don't know why it changed. There we go. So go a
And it
little bit to
almost
the
looks like
left.
they smashed it with a hammer.
That's exactly how they made them.
Yeah, that's how they made them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they flattened out this big sheet, and then they would make the rounds, the planchets, and then they would take a die and take a big old hammer and bam. They would do them one at a time. Looks
The
like
guy
Arduino's
who
might.
had the guy who had to hold the die. I wonder how many they went through, throughout a lifetime from the guy who was swinging the hammer.
I don't know.
And this
Yeah, I don't know.
work hazard, broken arm, broken hand, broken fingers.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And here's someone from the Dutch East India Company. I got a bunch of them.
The what?
The Dutch East
East India Company.
the
Okay.
VOC.
Yeah, see now I like those because so those particular coins fascinate me because a lot of those are tied to naval history, whether it be pirates or trade, shipping, things like that. So a lot of that Dutch East India and the what's the other one, Ray? What that I'm thinking of? There's East India, there's Dutch East India, and then there's there's another one. I can't think of what it is. But they were tied to maritime
Yep.
trade and things of that nature. So those always interest me.
Yep.
Raised
That's all
the same way.
back in the time when the British were signing letters to go attack other ships and pirate them, and which created pirating, and that's where we get our pirates from because a lot of these
They pretty much ruled the world for a while.
Yep, privateers.
So these merchant ships, they would just make them. They'd get a letter of commission from the king, and you go attack other ships.
Hey, real quick, Papa York, I wanted to check in on you. I know you had your pacemaker done. How are you doing, brother? I wanted just to take a quick moment and check on you, make sure you're doing all right. I appreciate you coming in. I hope the surgery and everything went well. The procedure went well. Please let me know. But again, thank you for coming in. Take care of yourself. And as always, Papa York, if you need anything, you know my email. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. All right, brother? Papa York's been through a couple items and had to have some recent stuff done. So send him your well wishes if you would.
But yeah, I could pretty much go on for all day. I don't want to take up your guys' time. I just wanted to show you a few cool things.
Those are pretty cool, though. I don't have too many ancients, but
there's a few that I want to get. Again, personal interest in the history, not necessarily the coin. but the history around the time frame. I like looking, and Ray, you and I talked about this a little bit before when we're talking about tying things to things like historical precedents against religious belief. So when you're talking about, you see a coin that was going on, at the time of Julius Caesar, or at the
Yep.
time of like Pontius Pilate, or
Or
at the
here,
time of Nero, or at the time of,
Constantine.
right? Yeah, and just looking at
Right.
those particular items
Where
that
Constantine was trying to unify the church at the time.
yeah, and so looking at those types of things, the story, the history, and then to be able to see the actual coin from the time frame that you understood that history to come from, it's really amazing. So I do really like that aspect of it. Um, but yeah, that's cool stuff.
This one's from Constantine the Great, and then I actually have one from his son. I think his son assassinated him, didn't he?
Constantine did kill his son, yes.
And then I actually have one from his son.
They all like to kill each other for power.
Constantine's son did kill his dad. Sorry. There was a lot of that though, a lot of power struggles.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Yeah,
they would
that's
kill whole
not-
families. It's nuts.
So that Constantine piece that you have, how many of them do you have?
Well, I only have one of the Constantine, and then I have Constantine as Augustus, which was right after his reign. But the cool thing about getting them from this treasure town is they actually will put the mint they're from. Like this one, the one from Constantine the Great is from Bolus Sizes mint. And then the one from Constantine as Augustus, or Constance as Augustus, was from the Ludman mint. But that's what I was telling you about this treasure town. They have YouTube, but they only do sales on Whatnot. But they have some really good deals there. And there's a lot of good information to be picked up from them. I think the guy did an internship at Princeton or might go there or something.
Right.
But he's very knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, he's been doing coins ever since he was a little kid, and he's got his own YouTube channel and stuff. He's a really nice guy. I've followed him for many years.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Well, good. Maybe I need to reach out and see if we can't get him on a stream to talk about this.
Oh yeah, you would have a blast. He's a really neat guy.
Very cool. Well, hey, Josh, I appreciate you coming up and sharing. That's cool. I know Ray's got some stuff he's going to show. I'm going to make Ray big for just a moment.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You were
Thanks
showing.
for joining the stream. I appreciate you, brother.
I'm not sure which one you were showing off earlier. So this is the $1 Apollo 11.
Yeah. So, I was going to buy that when I was in Tulsa. And then Miss Ida gave me a deal on that UFO coin that illuminates in ultraviolet light.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, oh, man, she cut me a monster deal on that. So I didn't get that coin. I got the $50 one in the commemorative set, but I didn't get the other one.
Yeah, so there's the half, and then there's the dollar.
Yeah, I need to get the dollar coin. And they're what, like $50, $60?
Yeah, they're not bad at all. I mean,
I need to get one of those.
It's about $50.
Yeah, because anybody who knows me knows I love the space program. That's why when Josh told me about the stuff that he had got, it was like, dude, that's so cool.
Well,
I love the history behind that.
This the way it's looking out like that from the viewpoint of the helmet. This is
they're really cool. Like I said, I have the $50.
Yeah,
They're absolutely
MTV. Remember MTV back in the early days? That was like their emblem.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot about that. John Sink says, I got the 1 ounce. Awesome, John. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I have the half and the that one there. And because I had gotten the Kennedy set, and I think it was a 2019 or 2014? That one's a 14.
So Ray, me said, is that going up on auction?
No, me personal collection. Yeah, so it came with this, the 2019.
Yep, I
reverse.
have the small one of that.
Yeah, so there's the 2019 reverse proof Kennedy set that those came in.
And that reverse Kennedy proof is gorgeous.
Yeah, well, then you got the 2014 reverse proof, and this is the W, Kennedy W. So this is West Point Mint. And at the West Point Mint, you have the Philadelphia proof 2014. You have the 2014 Denver silver strike. I think it's the burnished, and the 2014 S enhanced proof or enhanced Kennedy, and you have the 2014 W,
Yeah, I agree, Dark Koi. Those are gorgeous coins.
and they're all silver. So what's neat is you got a 2014 Philadelphia proof. And all the fingerprints are on the capsules there. So that's 2014 proof from Philadelphia, silver. And as you know, like only West Point and San Francisco would be doing proofs or silver like that. That's what's making these unique. Yeah, those will go into my Kennedy album for sure. Kind of finish off some of that. So yeah, but that's this is one of the ancients that I did get from Big Flip, and it does have the provenance of it. But I mean, how do you prove where it came from? That's the key. Is how are they going to know where in time and where in history they actually came from? So if you have a government trying to claim that stuff is theirs, but yet you had an empire back in history that was a part of them, but was much greater than them.
Yeah, so I think what they're talking about, and again, I may be misspeaking a little bit. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. Let's do that one. There we go. I see Josh is in panel, but his camera's not working, so he's not in stream, but he looks like he's still in stream. I think that they're looking at those items that were within the city states, right? So when
Right.
you're looking at the particular item, if you're looking at even in the Roman Empire, there was a lot of theft, a lot of things that happened. Rulers would come over, they would take stuff. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get to the base Greek state, because if the Romans took over a Greek society and they printed Roman coinage, then it superseded the Greek coinage, but the Greek coinage didn't go away. And
Right.
so that Greek coinage would still be there. And it's not the Roman coin in that time frame, it would be the Greek coin that
Mhm.
superseded that was what was done in the Roman. Now, a lot of times, the coins that were taken over by the victorious nation were melted down and stamped with the new ruler's likeness, right? Whether they did some sort of deity or they had done the visual reference of that particular ruler. They would melt those down and then turn the coinages into the new nation. Those coins would be lost to the Greeks because they're no longer viable. They're no longer there. You
Right.
couldn't prove that they come from that general time frame unless they were overstamped, and then you could see something in the overstamp, right? But hey, Mandy's Candy, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. I seen somebody else pop in, and I didn't get to say hi to them real quick. Dark Scory, thank you for coming in. There was somebody else. Who did I miss? So somebody else was here. Saw a new name, and I didn't address you, and I'm hoping that they're still here. Oh, they out of chat now. I apologize. So, but I think when you're looking at that, it's more referencing back to that Greek state, right? So if you're talking about Claudius, and Claudius went over and took Crete, hostage, and
Mhm.
won victory, then those coins of Crete are still there. Now, if all those coins of Crete went back to Rome and ended up in some governor's collection, because a lot of
Right.
time they kept those collections in hoards, and that's in a museum somewhere in Rome, those could be reappropriated by the Greek government and said, hey, those technically belong to us.
Right.
So I think that's what they're referring to. Um, my thing when you're talking about the question of where does the coin come from is, how do you know that where you buy the coin? How do we know that they've come across in good standing? Right?
Right.
Just like ivory, EMR said he talked about some fossilized ivory and things of that nature.
Yeah.
How do we know when it came
Any
across?
artifacts. Yeah. It's like, how do you know?
Yeah. So if you don't have the provenance on it, what do you do? So no, like I know that my grandfather, he served in Germany uh, during the 1950s,
Mhm.
and he brought some stuff back that you can't bring back nowadays. But they brought lots of stuff back in that day.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Now most of that stuff has been, because he died, 20 years ago. Most of that stuff has been disseminated and unfortunately uh, didn't get to be maintained in my family's collection. And so, um, what do you do? So if they were sold at a pawn shop or they were stolen, or
Right.
like some of my collections with my ex-wife, my first wife, um, dumped in a dumpster.
Oh,
When somebody finds those, what do you do? How do you know that they've been around for a while?
I know.
Um, so that's one of those things that has always questioned me. My biggest thing though is if I'm going to collect it, especially when we're talking about ancients, is I just want to know they're authentic. Um, because if they're authentic, then I know that I'm not wasting my money on something that is just a good reproduction. Because forgeries, counterfeits are
Oh, yeah.
becoming so good nowadays.
Oh, I know.
A lot of uh, my channel has revolved around counterfeiting, what to look for, things to look for, showing people, what a slabbed counterfeit coin looks like. Doing the short on the PCGS new slabs that talk about, what you need to look for and those security measures that are in the slabs. So my biggest thing is I want to make sure that whatever I pick up, whether it be numismatic, uh, central to US, Canada, whether it be European, Germanic, whether it be Roman, Greek, Egyptian, whatever it might be, is that it's authentic. Uh, Obviously, the first question now that I really hadn't thought about is it okay for me to have?
Yeah.
Right?
Because
That's
there's,
that's the biggest concern for me. That's the question that's on my shoulder.
well, I don't know if you ever read the story about the guy, they had dug up a T Rex, um, almost complete skeletal T Rex, probably back in the 90s, early 2000s, something like that. And they were trying to sell it because they had completed all the work on it, got it all restored, put it back together, and they were getting ready. And they had it at the warehouse where they were doing it. Well, the federal government comes in because someone apparently complained about it and said, "Hey, where'd you get that?" And they said, "Well, we were on, private property." And the U.S. government comes back and says, "No, you weren't. You were on government land." And they're like, "No, we were on private property." And so the U.S. government confiscated the T Rex skeleton and then ended up selling it themselves to a museum for millions of dollars. So all the work they had put into it, they lost and all they got was the recognition that they actually found it. But they did all the
So
work. So when it comes to money and big money, with stuff like that, if it's big money, you're always going to have someone trying to cheat you out of it, even if you had legal right to have it in the first place.
yeah,
It just doesn't matter because everybody wants everybody else's money.
and I think that's what Josh is kind of saying
Yeah.
behind the screens of is if you don't know, don't say anything.
Exactly. So, like this guy that found all the gold coins out in his field when he was
I was just
plowing.
about to bring that up.
All right, so he does what's right. He calls the authorities because he doesn't know anything about them. They get the coins. They determine, well, because it's on his land. I guess he got everything back, but now he's going to have to file taxes on all of that because now it's income. So if I,
Which is
especially,
why he's selling a majority of his collection to pay for the taxes that he's going to end up owing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if say we found that here in Texas, well, there's no taxes on that, no state tax. Yeah, I guess you would have to pay federal tax, but for me, knowing if I were to find a hoard of gold coins, I would just get them. Oh, Paula, my beautiful
Good
Paula.
morning.
Hello. Paula, do you know anything about ancients?
Yeah, they're really old.
Okay.
That's
It
about
was-
it.
You
Yeah,
learned it here. Okay.
Yeah.
Ancient coins are really old.
Really old.
Yeah. So
don't
now,
tell
if you
Isla
didn't have a
either,
reason
but
to
it was
subscribe
only
to
Isla
Live
Mint.
Coin Q&A, go do it now. Hi, Paula. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Ray.
Oh, no problem. Let's say it's like all the ancients were made at the Ida Mint.
Yes. Yes. They're
It's an error.
really old and many of them are inexpensive, which makes no sense to me, but whatever.
I know. Well, I guess it depends on just how many of them they found and what. I guess the
Yeah.
higher condition ones, like with everything, the better the condition, the higher the price, even if it's just common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're talking about the Kentucky Horde, though, the one thing that I was so
I
number
did
one,
me. Thank you. Sorry.
he was able to prove exactly where he dug it up, show that it was within his boundaries. He had the land rights and mineral rights, all that stuff.
Yeah, and and
Right.
if he had mineral rights, now see if someone else had mineral rights, though,
It would belong to them.
they would just snack them like that and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
they're mine."
So because he had all the proper rights, he had all the documentation, they could
Yep.
verify that was in his land. This is what was going on. It was fine. Now, I told you guys about the 1773 coin my sister found. Doing what the hell were they doing? Anyway, they were working with a friend. A friend lost a cotter pin off a tractor.
Mhm.
They were trying to find the cotter pin and stumbled across some old coins.
Oh wow.
Some of them were from Virginia. Some of them were pre-colonial.
Mhm.
So they were actually European. And then you could see like the transition in a couple of these coins that were like early Virginia.
Right.
And so her friend took him to the museum to get them restored and whatnot.
Mhm.
Never got it back.
Wow.
So it's at
Yeah.
the museum. They've held on to it, maintained it. And so she's going through all that kind of stuff to get that kind of things taken care of.
Heck yeah, that's like, hey, can you help me with this? And then they rob you. Thanks.
Yeah. And so there's some of that stuff that it's like, I really do get that there are good people trying to do good things. But I got to tell you, if I found something huge like that, I don't think that I'd be sharing it with everybody.
Yeah,
I have a hard time saying that I would do that.
yeah. For me, I know better than to broadcast it out. And I bet there's probably been more hordes like that found gold coin caches and stuff like that that were never reported because they were smart. Even though it was on their personal property, they had full right to it and everything else. They just wouldn't say anything about it. Now, see, if this farmer knew what he was doing, he could have just said, "Hey, these are all my gold coins, and I'm gonna check them out. Take them to like a few of them to a coin dealer, have them look at them, and then find out about how to get them graded and all of that, and then just send them off for grading." And also for restoration, if they needed restoration, and call it a day. But but I do like the fact that since he found them, he let it out to the public. We get to learn about it, though. That's the other thing too.
So I got a question for you. EMR said something, and I've heard this stated before, and I think it's 2 in 1. What is the thing about the gold being lost in the boating accident? Do you guys know the story behind? So I just saw I lost all the gold nuggets I dug in a boating accident. So was that you, or was it?
An
Is it
ongoing
is it a
joke.
joke? Is some sort of inside story? I hear that from a couple different people, and it's like, what the hell is the story behind that?
I think it's an inside joke, probably.
Paul, have you ever heard that?
Say that one more time. Sorry, I wasn't listening to you. I was
Saying
typing in chat.
it's all the gold I lost in an unfortunate boating accident.
I have not.
It's the
Did
saying
you?
that comes from a YouTube gun advocate.
Hmm.
Oh, so when they're coming to take your guns, oh, unfortunately, I lost my gun in a boating accident.
Oh, I like that.
I get that. Okay. So if
Yeah.
they ever come to take
Yeah,
your gold or your silver, it's like, oh, sorry, I lost them in an unfortunate boating accident.
I like that. I'm gonna have to go buy a boat.
I was like, I don't know why because I keep hearing it from different places. And you said that EMR, and I was like, okay, this is coming from somebody totally different because I heard 2 in 1 say that
Yeah.
on one of the streams.
Well, I
I've
think
heard
that's,
Seeker say it one time,
I think
and I
that's
heard
the same
somebody else.
concept back in the 30s when they had basically the government had demanded they wanted their gold back, and you went to go turn it in, and then the price of gold shot up afterwards. But I think a lot of people at that time, if they had gold or silver, they put them in jars, the mason jars, and they would bury them around their house, around where I grew up. So sometimes those caches can still be found, those mason jars, and you'll dig up whole jars of coin.
So, Ray, I'm sure you probably are aware of this, being a avid metal detector person. What do they call metal detectors? Do they call them metal detectorists?
Detectorists, yeah.
It just doesn't sound right.
Or nerds. We're just
Do
nerds.
you know a really good place? Now, this comes from when you're talking about uh, times around the 1920s,
Mhm.
Dust Bowl, the Depression was going on. People were having to hide things and put stuff away. They didn't trust banks, gold
Right.
rush era time frame, things like that. They didn't trust banks. Banks were a target for basically what you were doing is you were putting it in a bank for somebody to steal from you later, right? So
Pretty
people didn't
much.
trust banks.
Maybe people viewed it, yeah.
You know a really good place to detect
Where's that?
places where old outhouses were.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And what they would do, and I found this out, this is something that I was working at a convenience store while I was going through college. I was doing 2 small jobs, and there was a gentleman who had a pocket coin, and it was a gold eagle.
Wow.
And he had found it on he had like his Butterfield Canyon. He had something like 30 acres or something like 40 acres up in the area Butterfield Canyon. It's owned by the Butterfield family. And he was a granddad, I think, like that. but they were digging through, and he was redigging an old porta potty, right, or the old outhouse,
Yep.
and broke an old mason jar
Yep.
and found like 15 silver pieces and 4 gold pieces. And when he was going through, he found there were other like the jars that had fell in. There wasn't actually anything in them, but it actually kind of fell in off the shelf because
Yeah.
they would make shelves. They would dig it out, and then they would make shelves and put like a piece of wood over it. Then you could reach down, lift up the wood, reach underneath it, and grab.
Right.
And over time, they will fall and collapse and do whatever. Sometimes the jar would fall into the crap, and then they would never get it, or somebody would come in after they had passed or they had died suddenly, and people would fill them in, and they would still be there.
Right.
But anyway, he was rebuilding one on his property and found one that had, I think it was like 7 or 8 silver coins and like 4 gold coins from like 1840s, 1850s.
Yeah. And one of the other ones is that the settlement like that, like these old homesteaders, they would pick out a fence post around the house, and they knew exactly which fence post it was, like number 12 this way going north, and they would bury it at the foot of the fence post.
So
And,
check old stone walls,
stone walls, fence
fence
posts.
posts.
Yep. Yeah, they had quite a few different hiding places that they would put them. When I was a kid back in high school, my dad was dating this lady, and this lady lived with her great aunt, and her great aunt was telling me stories about she basically wasn't an outlaw, but she was riding horseback all over country to find the outlaws that killed her brother, and she was going to shoot him dead. Well, then she ends up meeting this guy who's a preacher. She becomes the preacher's wife. She was one of the first houses in that area who had indoor plumbing, but she wouldn't let anybody use the indoor plumbing in the bathroom. They all had to go out to the outhouse, which you would find strange. If you had a toilet in the house, why wouldn't you use it? She wouldn't let anybody use it. Well, after her passing, they were working on the house because the plumbing didn't work, and they dug it up. Well, they found over $7,000 in change she had flushed down the toilet. That was her savings account.
Wow.
Frostbite.
Yeah.
Great Scott sent me a coin. Do you care if I bring it up and talk about it for just a quick sec?
Well, if it were anybody other than Great Scott, I would say yes. But no.
Okay, you have to give me a second then. I have to come back on my tablet. My sound may be a little bit crappy though. So let me know.
Worries. No,
Okay.
Great Scott, absolutely.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. Had to pick on him a little bit. I love Great Scott. Now, when we went to Tulsa, this dude picked me up from the airport and brought me to the hotel and drove me around, showed me where stuff was.
I'm going to show you a garage sale find.
Good dude. I love Great Scott. So had to pick on him a little bit.
So this is a garage sale find.
Old Bible.
No, it's not a Bible. The Life of George Washington.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This book was written by John Marshall, the first Justice of the Supreme Court, appointed by George Washington. This book was printed in 1807 in Philadelphia.
That
This
is
is
so cool.
It is in pretty rough shape, but it has signatures all throughout it. I'm wondering, and I think about when I found this in Virginia. Unfortunately, like some of the pages have totally deteriorated, but yeah, for over a 200-something-year-old book, but it does have signatures, like I said, all throughout it. The only people who could really afford books like that or a library would be someone who was extremely wealthy. So here is a bunch of signatures. You know, and there could be even presidential signatures on here and not even know it.
That's freaking amazing, dude.
So yeah, this is printed 1807 by John Marshall. And because John Marshall and George Washington were really good friends, he wrote the life of George Washington. Commander-in-Chief of the American forces during the war, which established the independence of his country. First president of the United States. Compiled
that's
the inspection of the Honorable Bushrod W.H. Washington from the original papers. Yeah. And so I picked this up. I think it was like $12 at a this and another book I got for $12 at a garage sale when I lived in Virginia. But unbelievable. Yeah, it definitely needs restoration, but you talk about an old book.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, what's going on, Coin Crew? All right, Paula.
All right, your turn, Paula.
Can you hear me? Is it terrible?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so I will share my screen. Hang on, let me pull it up.
Bracken Travis.
Coin Crew said, "How did you get my book, Ringmaster Ray?"
Talk about an old book, 1807.
Yeah, well, that's
By John Marshall.
He had that book when he was in high school.
Okay, you have to pull it up though, FrostByte.
There you go.
Okay,
That's what
so
my wife says.
so he sent. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he sent this. Hang on. Can you see that?
Oh wow!
The
Nice.
obverse.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a 40%, 40%, 45% off centered, right?
Mm-hmm.
At like K10, so it's about at 10 o'clock. So he wants to know. He got it for like $1 something or whatever, which is great. But he wanted to know if it would be worth having graded or restored. I'll show you the reverse. You can see on the reverse, there's some, let me pull it up a little bit closer, some plating issues because this is a copper plated zinc, which is super common on off centers especially.
Yeah.
This black stuff at the bottom, if I pull it up, let me see, get down here. I think that's mint goop. I think that's mint grease that came, I think it came from the mint like that. The reason I say that is because it has like this speckled look to it. So mint goop is like a combination of like mint grease and dust and metal shavings and stuff like that. So I suspect that it may have come from the mint like that.
And that's what caused it to stick in when
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's super sticky and
Yeah,
and it probably if this was removed, the bottom of that memorial may be like completely obliterated down there. If there were devices here, they probably would be all gone.
Yeah.
We actually have had coins like that on the show where the guy actually removed it, and that sucked because had he left it on there, that would have increased the value because it would have been retained on the coin.
Do you think? Yeah.
Go ahead.
The extra cut to the right. Do you think that is a separate stripe?
So that's a collar scar.
Collar scar. Okay.
Yeah, that's just a collar scar. They probably tipped a bit when it was in the striking chamber, and the color came down on that. These scratches and stuff, this is going to come back a details coin anyway. All of the stuff in the memorial and like above the C, that's all plating split. This coin's a ticking time bomb for zinc rot.
Oh yeah.
And restoration's not going to help that. Coins like this, even though, when you buy an off-center coin, you want the date. So that it has that going for it. It has the date.
Right.
But even at the date, there's like some plating split there. And so, I mean, it's like I said, it's just a ticking time bomb. I would put it in a flip, keep it, away from the elements and stuff like that. But it's only worth a few bucks anyway. And you're not, I would never suggest somebody send this for grading and or spend the cost of restoration.
Well, yeah, because eventually it's just going to disintegrate anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, you
The
keep it safe. Even maybe get a little capsule for it, or you can buy slabs
Oh,
from
yeah.
like
Question.
Wizard Coin Supply. You can buy slabs. Keep it in that. Keep it out of the elements. But I mean, it's got problems. So
If you did something like vacuum sealed this, would it help with the?
well, what are you going to vacuum seal it in? That's going to be like PVC free, or you know, most of
Yeah.
the plastics that you have. There, any soft plastic like that is going to probably have some PVC in it or something that's not going to be safe for the coin.
Does he do what they used to do with it? Lacquer it?
No, don't
I'm-
lacquer it.
I
Leave
am
it
just
alone.
kidding.
Leave
I
it
am just
alone.
kidding.
Love it, enjoy it. Even if this had no problems, it's still only like a $10 to $15 coin if it was completely problem free and
So why spend $30 to get it graded
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
and lose money on it?
yeah.
That's a cool
So-
coin, though. Great Scott.
I hope that makes sense. But you can buy these, especially the copper plated zincs. You can buy them all day for a few bucks. So it's just would not be worth. Yeah, and yeah, absolutely, Eric. Yeah, I use those little. I don't even know what they're called. The little packs that absorb the moisture and stuff. But that when you use those, they're only good if you're using them right on the coin or right up against the coin, because all that does is pulls the moisture out of the air around the coin.
Yep.
So unless it's like in contact or close to what you're trying to keep it, the moisture away from, it doesn't do any good. So if you say you have a safe and you just throw one in the safe, the first moisture it's going to pull out is from the air around that. But yeah, it's just not gonna be as efficient unless you put it right up against the coin. So
Yeah, because I've got
silica
buckets
pack.
of rotten zinc pennies. I find them all the time, and now I just melt them down and make bars.
Ah, there you go.
I mean,
Lot-
because the banks don't want them. You can't turn them into anything. I mean, the bank will just throw them in the trash.
Now there is the government does have a reclamation program
And
where you can send in destroyed coins or destroyed currency, things like that. But I don't know if that would even be worth it.
No,
especially a bucket load.
they have a limit on what they will take back. So this is a pure zinc bar from zinc pennies that I dug.
Oh, very cool.
2 pounds of zinc from the penny.
Very cool.
So something a little different for for something about coins that's not coins now.
That's true, FrostByte. Yeah, very cool.
So, and I think
Yeah, you could probably make them in if you're a fisherman. You could probably make them into sinkers.
Oh yeah, because they have a low melt temp too. So
Mhm.
only about 600 degrees, and I mean almost about like lead, and they will melt real easy. But I think would be neat. I want to polish this off, cut out a circle here, and then inset a zinc penny like into it and have it glued into it and then
There you go.
zinc from melted pennies that were metal detected.
That's a great idea.
So
That's cool.
something
Yeah,
unusual.
a lot of error. I try to stay away from error coins on copper plated zinc cents just because they do have issues. I'll buy one if it doesn't have any visible issues, but you see a lot of times, like especially like the 95 double die,
Mhm.
you see a lot of split plating issues on those.
Stretched out that copper spray
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah, it's just basically the stretched out plating from like the pressure from the strike. So,
Mhm.
but it exposes that zinc. Anytime you get that zinc exposed, it's super vulnerable. So,
And the early zinc pennies, I would say back from 83 to probably early 90s, had a much thicker copper plating on it. And they last quite a bit longer. When I find those in the ground, they look like just a regular copper penny.
mhm.
because it had actual copper on it. Now, when you get into the newer ones, it's just basically a copper spray paint on it, and they just rot just almost immediately as soon as they touch the ground.
Yeah, it's a thin plating. So I hope that answered your question, Great Scott. And thanks for letting me share that on here.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome coin. I think that's really cool.
No, they are. I love off-centered strikes. I love them. But when it comes to spending, spending extra money on it, you got a great deal on it. Love it. If you want, you could flip it and make a couple bucks.
There's
So.
a one here that I came across. So I bought a bunch of these at the coin shop to turn around and sell on the channel. Flip this around. And I was getting ready to sell them, and I accidentally, this is, I know a common thing for the large cents is
Rotations.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I held on to this one because it was rotated.
Yeah,
29.
super common. There, there's actually the 1864 2-cent. There's actually a die pair where it is rotated. It's rotated 180 degrees, and
Wow.
that's just normal because that's the way the dies were set. So
Exactly.
Well, cool, everybody. Hey, if I can get my mod to throw in
I'm gonna
Coin
go.
Cruise auction, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Have a great day, everybody.
And everybody, Paul, thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye. I got to head to church too. So.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming up, Ray. I do appreciate you coming up.
Love you guys. Have a wonderful day and bless you all.
So that's William E. I definitely will do that. Okay. I'll make sure that I put that up. That's a great suggestion. So maybe I'll do some research on that and have that as next Sunday's stream. But yeah, so if you guys have suggestions or requests, please let me know. I appreciate it. So do me a favor before you leave. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you put a comment in the videos. I've started to do some shorts, trying to increase my quality on the shorts. I'm going to put my glasses up for just a minute so you can actually see my eyes. Trying to increase the quality of video in my shorts. Please go check out the shorts. Say something, subscribe. Let me know if you like those. Share them out. I'm trying to build some contact, trying to build some traction, with the channel. So anything like that, watch. I'm only 450 hours short of having my subscriptions, super chats, things like that done. So I have some membership things that I want to do. So please watch the videos. That's what's going to help the most. I appreciate you all coming in. If you like these kind of topics, you want to discuss more, please send me an email, throw something in chat, comment on a short. Let me know you want to learn more about that coin. Let me know you want to know about more processes. Like William E. just stated here, he wants to talk about this. I'll go ahead and make a video on that. Go over Great Scott and Jimmy. They put the link in. So go over and check out Great Scott. Please let them know that I sent you over there. I support that channel. We stream into them. And so I want to make sure that I honor my appreciation for them. You all take care. I had 35 amazing people in the stream at one time. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you all. This is FrostByte. Be well, be blessed, and we'll see you over at Coin Cruise channel in just a few moments. Take care. We'll see you later.